In June of 1812, the United States declared war on the most powerful empire on Earth, barely 3 decades after gaining independence. The young American Republic once again found itself facing Great Britain, a nation that still refused to fully accept the laws which followed, became known as the War of 1812. Conflict fought not for glory, but for survival, sovereignty, and national identity. The roots of the war stretched far beyond a single event. Europe was consumed by the Napoleonic Wars, and the rivalry between France and Britain spilled across the Atlantic. British warships routinely intercepted American merchant vessels, seized cargo, and forcibly recruited American sailors into the Royal Navy. To many Americans, this was a direct assault on their sovereignty. At the same time, British authorities in Canada supported Native American resistance against U.S. westward expansion, fueling violent clashes along the frontier. These alliances turned the borderlands into zones of fear and uncertainty, where settlers, soldiers, and native communities were drawn into a widening conflict. Tensions finally exploded after the Fort Dearborn massacre in August 1812, an event that shocked the nation and hardened public opinion. Under President James Madison, the United States declared war, believing Britain to be vulnerable and expecting an easy victory, particularly through an invasion of Canada. This assumption proved disastrously wrong. Between 1812 and 18, the war unfolded across vast territories: the Great Lakes, the Atlantic coast, the Gulf of Mexico, and deep into frontier settlements. Disease, exhaustion, and poor coordination claimed far more lives than direct combat. In 1814, British troops marched into Washington, the conjugal fire, to the Capitol and the White House, in one of the most humiliating moments in American history. Yet the invasion triggered a surge of resistance. Volunteers flooded recruitment centers, driven by fear that independence itself was at risk. The British advance was finally halted at Baltimore, where the defense of the city inspired Francis Scott Key to write the Star-Spangled Banner. Months later, unaware that peace had already been signed in Europe, American forces achieved a decisive victory at the Battle of New Orleans under General Andrew Jackson, cementing his status as a national hero and reshaping the nation's memory of the war. The Treaty of Ghent, signed in 1814 and ratified in 1815, ended the war with no territorial changes. The conflict concluded in a status quo ante bellum, but its consequences were profound. The United States emerged with a renewed sense of unity and nationalism. Britain abandoned its interference in American trade, and the young nation entered a period of expansion and confidence known as the era of good feelings. The War of 1812 proved that survival, not conquest, can define a nation's future.